So far, we've only explored the luxurious side of Macau, but as I mentioned before, this is a city full of contradictions, and today we're going to explore the not-so-luxurious side of Macau. As you can see, now we're staying in a completely different area, let's say in the more popular part of town. We have the most luxurious room in the corner, but even though this is a panoramic view, it's not exactly a beautiful one. Here we're kind of right in the center, in what you might call the rough neighborhood of Macau. And we're going to spend the whole day exploring the downtown area and some of its historic sites, following the Xiaohongshu guides, which are the guides for young travelers. And here's the room. How much did it cost us, Fer?
I think it was around 300 yuan. I mean, it's a fraction of the price of the other hotel we were staying at. Since tonight wasn't included anymore, we decided to go.
But don't think it's a bad area. We're right in the city center.
And the other part of the city is what we could call the hotel zone or the tourist area. Over there, everything is new. There are luxury complexes, impressive hotels, and lots of casinos. But here is where most of the population lives, in these buildings. And as I mentioned before, this is the most densely populated city in the world. And in just 33 square kilometers, more than 700,000 people live here. So they had to be somewhere and not in the luxurious hotels. Here we have a kindergarten. I'm really curious to know what language they teach the kids in, because it says Escola Kauyip there. And a while ago we saw a kindergarten go by like in Filita, India, and there were children of different ethnicities. Some looked Indian, others looked European, others looked Latino, Filipino. But as far as I know, the most spoken or common language is Cantonese. But as official languages, they also have Mandarin and Portuguese. So you'll see it on all the signs. And when I say on all, I mean on a popular buildings like this one, which is just an ordinary apartment building, probably for people with lower income, but there it is in Portuguese. Edifício Heiban. Another thing that will surely be very interesting is the food, because we were told that here there's a great mix of Portuguese food with Cantonese and Chinese food. So there are surely some pretty unique flavors, and maybe we'll have the chance to try them. In the meantime, welcome to the center of Macau. It's a truly interesting place, and that's why we've decided to nickname it the strangest city in China. A place where many cultures blend. Beautiful. Today we want to show you real life by walking through the old city. It's quite confusing because on the sides there are the classic bright Chinese neon signs that are everywhere. But in the background there's a colonial building that makes you feel like you're in Europe. Or even in Mexico, because Mexico has many beautiful little towns with similar architecture.
But don't go all the way to the front. Mitzi, look at what we have right here next to us.
Yes, just look at this building with its balconies. It's perfect for serenading a beautiful lady. Here on Rua Pala,
This city is the definition of variety. There's a little bit of everything here.
Just look at this intersection. There's the Nike store right there, pretty modern. The Chinese pharmacy is in a building that looks European, and in the background there's another apartment building which is like the perfect mix between both cultures. And here you can really see a huge density of people that you don't find in the luxury area.
That's because over there it's much more expensive.
Thank you very much. Yes, vloggers, thank you. My page is Max and Noelia on YouTube.
Alright, I'll follow you, Max.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Like and subscribe. Do you speak Portuguese?
I understand a little bit.
A little.
Many Filipino words come from Spanish.
Like peso and adobo, I know.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And are you from Brazil?
Mexico and Spain. Yes, we went to the Philippines. It's very beautiful.
Have you already been there?
Yes, we visited Boracay and Cebu.
Oslo.
Wow.
And in Manila.
Didn't you go to Palawan?
No, we didn't go, but we will next time.
You're going to love Palawan. It's a great place for surfing.
Thank you, guys. See you. You're welcome. Welcome to Macau.
It's not just the buildings. The people here are also a real mix, like chili, mole, and pozole.
Wow, this is really good.
Right? I thought so too. Oh no, I ate the other cookie and it was great. I even wanted more.
But in fact, Noelia is right. Something you don't see in mainland China is the tremendous diversity that you find here. And the thing is, here, many employees who work in hotels and the service industry are Filipino. People from India, people from Thailand. There are a lot of immigrants. However, in mainland China, most foreigners work as language teachers or are entrepreneurs. And therefore, the cuisine is also very diverse. Suddenly, you find yourself with Indian restaurants, Filipino restaurants, Portuguese restaurants, and I love that. This is the typical food. It looks Cantonese, doesn't it? But what I've seen a lot is this little pork burger.
Like a sandwich?
Is it like a pork sandwich?
Yes, the bread is like a bolillo.
Maybe it comes from something known as the francesinha, which in Portuguese is a very typical sandwich. We haven't found it here, but it could be inspired by it.
Literally what you were saying. Portuguese, Chinese, mapo tofu. This is Sichuanese food, and over here you have this... What is it?
French toast.
Yes, like French bread.
In front of us is the Church of Santo Domingo, which was also the first Catholic temple on the entire island. Since it was built in 1587 by the Portuguese, and even though it is not very big or very striking, this church has become a World Heritage Site, recognized by United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization due to its very interesting historical context.
Just look at the variety of signs and languages and different types of temples they have where they put the names of the streets. Over there is the Holy Cathedral. Here we have the Santo Domingo Temple, and there we also have the Samkai Puikun Temple.
No, the interesting thing is that they have three names, the Chinese, the Portuguese and the Cantonese. It's pretty confusing because I don't know which reference the locals use. And it's the same here. The city map has a bunch of languages, but here they even included Japanese. Now we're walking towards the city center. But it's really interesting because this part seems like the arcades you find in many cities in Mexico. Even Toluca, where Noelia and I grew up, has a beautiful arcade area. And it's where people go to have ice cream, to shop. A really nice downtown area to walk around. And they have it here too, but this isn't the only part of China where you can find something like this. On Hainan Island, there was also a lot of foreign influence because it was an international port for many years. And these types of structures are known as kilus. And the purpose of these types of buildings is supposed to be to protect people from the rain, the sun and storms, so that they can do their shopping without any problems. And behind us we have the Holy House of Mercy. I can't quite read the name in Chinese because those characters are kind of strange, but it's amazing to see this part of the city. And then walk a few steps to the right and see one of the most important casinos in the city, which is the Grand Lisboa.
Things are pretty confusing, right? It's like you have different signs from the surroundings telling you that you're in different countries around the world.
That's the city's post and telegraph building. It's completely different. It's like they're from different eras. On one side you have the arcades, on the other you have this impressive building, and then there's the Municipal Palace, or in Portuguese, the Institute for Municipal Affairs. Now we're going to enter the Municipal Palace of the city of Macau. And here too, confusion everywhere. There are decorations for the Year of the Rabbit celebration, the Chinese Year of the Rabbit. And then there's the palace with its completely European architecture.
Its walls resemble Talavera-style tile.
Just look at what an impressive building this is. Everything has religious references, and we're going to go inside to see the main courtyard. They have their inflatable for the Year of the Rabbit. This changes every year all over China, depending on what year it is. If it's the Year of the Rabbit, it's the rabbit. Year of the Ox, it's the ox. There are 12 animals total. Look here.
Here is a bust of a poet who is clearly not Chinese.
It's Luis Vaz de Camões, who is recognized as the Shakespeare of Portugal, but what does the Shakespeare of Portugal have to do with Macau? You may be wondering. Well, it turns out that this poet was exiled at some point in his life and ended up living in Macau for many years. Interestingly, he wasn't seen as an oddball back then. That he looked different from the people who lived here, because back then Macau had three types of inhabitants. The Metropolitan Portuguese, who were the Portuguese born in Portugal, the Macanese, who were of mixed descent, and the local Chinese. But the most interesting thing of all was how they handled names, because the Portuguese had a Catholic name which was given to them on the day of their baptism, and the Chinese had their names with characters. just like in any other part of the country. In this case, everyone needed to have two names, a Chinese name and a baptismal name.
And many times the Chinese ended up converting to Catholicism, so they had to be baptized with a Catholic name that was added to their record.
And in the case of good Luis, it was the opposite for him. He had to be assigned a Chinese name that I can't read because I don't know this character. But besides the name, being Portuguese had a rather high status, just like in New Spain being Spanish born in Spain did.
The difference is that here, social groups weren't split into mestizos and criollos as they were in New Spain.
That also defined your social status and the opportunities you could aspire to. And I find it very interesting because yesterday we went to a dinner where we met a guy who looked completely Asian, but he came up to us and introduced himself as Jose.
Jose means Jose in Portuguese, and he kept telling us that he was of Portuguese descent since his grandfather was fully Portuguese.
He tried to speak to us in Portuguese even though he doesn't speak it 100%, and he seemed really proud of it.
And it makes sense since back then that gave them a lot of opportunities and access to positions that local people couldn't have.
This isn't new. I think it also happens often in Mexico.
Many people often say, my grandfather or great-grandfather was Spanish, and while it's often true, I also feel that there are many people who still have a certain inferiority complex, and the fact of being connected to Europe makes them feel superior in a way. But what do you think? Here comes the parade of kindergarten children. This time they're all local Asians because we can't assume otherwise. Maybe there are Korean schools or Japanese schools here, but they look very cute with their little green backpacks.
Walking through downtown Macau, we've noticed that there are a lot of pharmacies in the city center.
And it's not a coincidence, but rather because it's a different system than the one in mainland China.
Here it's much easier to get medications and supplements that aren't available where we live, and at much lower prices.
So, besides gambling,
there's a large medical tourism industry with people coming to buy all kinds of medicines and supplements that aren't available where they live. And it's really interesting to see the medicines they have. There are some very strange things, from herbs and potions to Western medicine brought from Japan, Korea, and many other countries. But if I'm right, it should be cheaper here, which I find strange because in China it's already quite affordable.
But at the same time, Macau has a long tradition of traditional Chinese medicine, and the downtown area has always been known for having many herbal shops around.
So in a way, you could say that the downtown area is a mix between medicine and supplements that aren't accessible in mainland China and local traditional medicine.
Just look, on this corner we have 4 pharmacies, 1, 2, 3, and on this side we have 2 more, and further down we have 6 more pharmacies on the same street.
And that's because here they don't need as many regulations to sell supplements and medicines as they do in mainland China. It's like when Noelia's family visits Spain and always brings some to her aunt. Do they give it to her?
Voltaren.
Because it's pricier in Spain?
It's way more expensive in Spain.
There's a traditional tea shop here. I find it interesting that in Portuguese it says Cha Medicinal de Shinkun. Cha means tea in Chinese. This is where the brews are.
I imagine that's where the tea comes from and they fill it in those plastic bottles, but I don't know what it's for. Is this tea? What is it for?
Yes, it is.
What is it for? Is it for a cold?
Yes.
How much does this bottle cost? 25 yen? How much are you taking? It's probably going to be really bitter, but let's see how it is.
20 patacas.
It's 25.
Yes, yes.
In Mago, the pataca is used, which was previously the Portuguese word for the Mexican peso. And back then, the Spanish coin was made in Mexico or New Spain, and they called it pataca, which are these. And the bills are very beautiful and interesting because they come in both Portuguese and traditional Chinese characters. And they have very representative images from both China and Portugal. For example, here we have the classic dragon. Here are some very beautiful buildings. And we even have the map of Macau here. But be very careful when you come, because for some reason they didn't accept any of our cards. You can't use China's Alipay to pay here if you're not Chinese. The man wasn't very friendly, but we have our medicinal tea. Let's taste it. Do you want to try it?
No, Mom. I really needed something like medicine for my cold.
Maybe they think we bought it because we're nosy, but that's not the case.
Noelia has a cold, so we asked the guy who sells teas if he had something for a cold. He grabbed that bottle and told us this one. But the way he did it made me feel like if I had told him I had acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, he would have given me the same medicine.
Let's see.
Well, yes, it's really bitter, but it's tolerable. Well, I usually take Chinese medicine to treat my cough, but on this trip, I don't know why I forgot. I always bring some in case we get sick on the trip. But, well, in this case, it was fine because we have these little teas. Let's see if they work.
It's incredible how many people crowd the center of Macau. Just look, between tourists and locals, there's hardly any space to walk without bumping into someone. What's that? Is that jerky? Pork? All right, thank you. I don't know if it happens here, but in Hong Kong, a lot of people don't like being spoken to in Mandarin. In a way, they think Cantonese should be the official language, but there are also many people who don't have any problem with it. And the thing is, nowadays, Hong Kong is already part of China, so Mandarin is going to be adopted more and will become more common.
This place here caught my attention because it says Alua and Portuguese food. I guess they sell things to cook Portuguese food at home, like spices or something like that. Or maybe they even have prepared food to take away. Let's see what they have.
Is it Portuguese?
Yes, we have more here.
More Portuguese ports. I want to see what they're like. Are all these cookies from Portugal?
Yes, they're homemade.
Do you make them yourselves?
Yes, of course, she is our ancestor. We are the third generation.
Look, apparently she was the boss, the owner of the place. She was of mixed blood and she was the one who started selling Portuguese products. Here you have the whole article from when they first opened their store and how they made their cookies or their cakes.
Bug coffee, bug cheese balls.
All right, I'll take this one. Let's buy the bug, which is supposed to be a typical dessert from Portugal.
If you've been to Portugal or have Portuguese family, let us know if it's true or if we were just seen as tourists.
Guys, we already bought the bug, that's what it's called. I hope it's like a marzipan. I love marzipan, especially the Rosa brand one.
No, you didn't like it?
No. Actually, it's like a marzipan, but without sweetness, or like a shortbread, but without sugar. And honestly, in Mexico, we eat desserts really sweet, so I liked it, but I feel like it needs more sugar. But well, it's healthier for me.
You're here eating a bug in the middle of the buildings, these Chinese/Portuguese.
Yeah, it looks wild, right? Whoa, look at Don riding by on his motorcycle. Imagine how tough it must be to live here and navigate these cramped alleys every day.
I thought there wouldn't be so many people today. I regretted not recording the other day thinking, it's Sunday, if we go tomorrow it's Monday. The street won't be as lively anymore, but look, it's packed.
You see, they actually celebrate Halloween here. And in case this city didn't seem strange enough to you, just look at what's at the end of this alley. Suddenly you come across a structure that looks like it's straight out of the Roman Empire, but no, it's actually the ruins of St. Paul, or rather the facade that remains standing from what used to be the Church of St. Paul. That was a church built in the 17th century by Jesuit missionaries, but in 1835 it caught fire and practically disappeared completely. In fact, the only reason we have that facade today is because it was rebuilt with granite, and it's actually not the original structure. But even so, we're gonna go up so you can see it more closely. How much does the egg tart cost?
10 patacas.
10 patacas, I'll take one. Is it local?
Yes.
Is it Portuguese food?
Yes.
Do you speak Portuguese?
No.
Is this local money?
Yes, patacas.
Patacas?
Yes.
Not Hong Kong dollars?
No, it's from Macau.
But are they worth the same?
Yes, the same.
So I can pay with 10 yuan patacas or Hong Kong dollars?
Yes.
Yen as well?
Yes.
Oh, very good, thank you. To you. Thank you, boss.
Your Chinese is great.
No, I need to study more.
Cheer up.
He says yes, this is actually the most typical thing to try after the classic Macau hamburger. And speaking of classic hamburgers, here is the burger stand. This is like the specialty, the Macau pork patty with egg, and that's why it says here, on the Macau pork patty with egg,
And this is where people come to pose, although right now, getting a photo without someone getting in the way is virtually impossible. This pose is cool for my buddy, and I'd like to express my individuality with a unique and unrepeatable photo. But I think right now, it would be impossible. Everyone is here standing on the steps from below. It doesn't look that hard, but climbing up really takes its toll. All that's left of the church is the facade behind me, since there's nothing else, and you can notice that it's been rebuilt with granite.
How's that egg pastry?
Egg, yes. Apparently this is all that's left of the ruins of San Paulo. There's not much else. I think you can see the foundations here, but actually you can barely see anything, especially because the water is condensed. And here there's a small chapel. What's really impressive is the main facade. In the back, you can still see a bit more of the original structure. But honestly, it's barely noticeable now. In a city as strange as Macau, this must be one of the most peculiar corners, because behind me there's a Chinese temple. Then there are the ruins of São Paulo, and in the background is one of the biggest and most impressive casinos in the world, which is the Grand Lisboa. From here you can see the unique alleys of the city of Macau, and there's even a little cat over there walking by the Bardita. It's a really interesting city, but not exactly beautiful from every angle. This street is very peculiar, but what strikes me as even more peculiar is that the patrol cars are completely protected. Both the windows and the siren, as well as the sunroof and the taillights, have protective bars. I don't know if it's to protect them from what's happening outside or to protect those who are outside from what happens inside these cars, but it's strange since you don't see that in mainland China or Hong Kong. Maybe it's because there are a lot of people here who lose fortunes and in the process lose their minds too. I'm not sure, but it is very strange.
Yesterday we were with some guys who were of Portuguese descent, and one of them was saying that he wasn't here when all that mafia war stuff happened, or when they were being hunted. Maybe those cages were also to help when there were shootings or gunfire, or maybe to protect the police patrol cars.
This building is really interesting because it looks very old, but it's actually a school. And I just saw some kids coming out who don't look Chinese. It says Portuguese School of Macau. You can read it perfectly, and I would like to know what language the kids learn in, because look, this little one here doesn't look Chinese, they look like foreigners. And this building really stands out because right across from it is one of the most iconic and historic buildings in the city. And now we're going to walk through that area, which is probably where the most iconic photo is taken. If you come to this place, now we're finally reaching the most important point in the modern history of Macau. Because here, you'll not only find the Grand Lisboa Hotel, but also the first large-scale casino hotel that was established in this city, which is the Lisboa Hotel. And I think from here, it's pretty clear that they built it in the shape of a bird cage. It looks like it has bars on top, and it seems like it has something to attract birds. And even though now it looks like a pretty small hotel compared to its bigger brother, at the time this was one of the most luxurious hotels, not only in Macau, but in the whole country. Because keep in mind that back then China was just starting to open up to foreigners, and monumental buildings like the ones you can find everywhere today were not very common. Therefore, this hotel had a tremendous tourism boom. And even though it's no longer the most luxurious or the newest you can find, the rooms are still quite expensive because of its historical significance. In fact, a room in this hotel costs you approximately between 800 and 2,000 yuan, which is almost the same as what Noelia and I are paying at the hotel where we're staying, which is much bigger, much nicer, and in a better location. And something very curious is that I've noticed that in this part of the city, especially in these casinos, there's a very different profile of people. Since in the other part you see more like the upper class Chinese, like the Chinese who have been abroad. The average Chinese person who says they studied in Europe and vacation in the United States or ski in Japan every summer. And on the other hand, in this part of the city, there are people who seem to come from the countryside or from second or third tier cities in China. But that doesn't mean they have less purchasing power. Because in a country of 1.4 billion people, there are many ways to make money, and not all of them are in the city. I can't believe what I just saw. We entered the casino to look around, and suddenly I noticed a table crowded with people.
There were literally about 30 or 40 people around the table, and I thought, well, something interesting must be happening. And I got closer and realized there was a man with a bunch of chips on the table and his hands were shaking. It seemed like he didn't want to turn over his card, and everyone was cheering him on. So I asked the lady how much the chips were worth. She said each one was worth 10,000 yuan. That's around $1,000 to $1,500. Around there, and she had about 20 chips on the table. I mean, she was making bets of $20,000 or more. Although I couldn't record, I saw him lose 3 times and win once. This is an unplanned part of the vlog. I don't know how we ended up here, but today we're going to jump off a tower that's over 200 meters tall, which is considered the highest urban bungee in the world. By the highest in the world, I mean that the Grand Lisboa is right there and we're probably at the same height. And I don't know how the hell I'm going to force myself to go against my nature and jump, but we're already here, so to hell with it. Well, we're not going to do it alone because Antonio is coming with us.
When my mom asked if I'd jump off a cliff just because he did, I always said yes.
Don't hang out with us or your kids might do things you don't want. They offer more than bungee jumping. They also have a skywalk at the top where the bungee jump starts. All around the tower they have a platform, so they hook you up with a harness and you can walk all around the platform. We were really lucky because this experience cost 3,000 yuan. Jumping once costs 11,000 pesos. It's crazy to me, but our friend Nito from the Coyotes Tequila restaurant comes here often. He's an adrenaline lover. He said, when you go to the Macau tower, let me know if you want to bungee jump. I know someone there who can help and get you up anytime. We said, hey Nito, we're in Macau. He said, no, I'll send the contact now. Antonio, tell us how you feel.
Nervous, but only because I want to be there already. Because I feel like the more you think about it and the more you go over it, the more you suffer.
Hearing him say that calms me since I've been asking all morning, how do you feel? And he replies, I'm fine. I also ask, aren't you anxious? I couldn't sleep. I woke up 2 or 3 times with a rush of adrenaline.
We'll have to wait until the last moment when Antonio is on the platform and says, oh, Nanita, I can't do it. This is the elevator that takes you up high. No, don't look.
Is it still the highest bungee in the world?
Yes, but in a building.
I was watching how the floors kept going up and I said, no way, no, before going up to the floor where Max and Antonio are going to jump from. I think the floor is 61. We're on the 58th now. There's an observation deck and a cafe here. And, well, just enjoying the view a little. I see that someone is already about to jump here from the bungee. There he is on the screen. Let's see. Oh.
He looks so crazy.
My stomach is hurting like from nerves. What are we going to do with this man? He's going to give me a heart attack.
Thank you, friends, thank you. Cheering us on because we're about to jump and they say, you're crazy, aren't you? Why? Why do I always get number 4? In China, the number 4 can be confused with the word death. Whenever I get something, for example, when I had surgery, they gave me bed number 4 in room 44. Now I'm going bungee jumping and they give me number 4.
Maybe it's good luck.
Why do I always get 4?
You know, everything's going to be fine.
I'll do it. Let's go.
Let's play rock, paper, scissors to decide who jumps first.
They're getting Max ready now. These are the harnesses they use. Go, Missy! Wow, it looks unreal. It's so high.
Oh my God.
How do you feel, Max?
I'm scared, but I know I'll make it and I'll be happy, I think. Come on, let's go, come on.
Here and now, just walk to the shore.
Without fear. It's dragging me. Goodbye, dogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Heck yeah! The blood looks freaking intense. Whoa! We did it! Yes, we did it! Wow! I thought I wasn't going to make it, huh?
It was incredible. A 250-meter free fall feels endless. The first 3 seconds, you feel like your insides are going to come out, but honestly, in the next 3, you really enjoy it. It's worth it. Now let's see if Antonio jumps.
This is for you all, for my mom, for Mexico, and well, here goes nothing.
Give me a smile, bro. You know how it goes.
Bye-bye. See you. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. I turned as red as a tomato. The brake, hit the brake. Oh, damn. It felt amazing. What a beautiful experience. The harness is just bothering me a little. Hey, that felt awesome, man. I recommend it to you all. Totally. Here in Macau, if you've never done a bungee jump, I 100% recommend it.